Thank you for coming today. I'm going to do a particular mention because we've had a lot of help from some specific people, and I do want to thank them. Alice in particular has been absolutely amazing. Alice used to live on our road and was a childminder for us, then went away and basically has built herself a mega career as a set designer and runs something called The Art of Dining in London. Check it out on the website. They do some amazing themed evenings. She's been absolutely fantastic in setting a lot of this up today. Ably aided by Denise and Vicky in particular, who were all here yesterday, so big thanks to those guys. I want to also thank Marika and her team of pudding makers. That's Maria, Claire, Anna, Karen, Alice, Sarah, Simon, Karen, Alex, Helen and Dom. So thank you to those guys. I want to say thank you to Chris for the invitations, to Rome for the music, to Will, Andy and Julie for their serenading us. Thanks guys. Each going to do a DJ slot later. Thank you for that. Roche, as you know, has done the photos. Tot and Dan are going to do some cocktails based on some cider that we made with them from the apples in those trees over there. And we also have a lot more people who offered, and that's really, really generous. So thank you very much to those guys. Just to pause to say, there's obviously one or two people that couldn't make it here today. On my side, my grandparents, my uncle, my aunt and my mum, so, you know, I'd like to acknowledge them. But I'd like to finish by saying one or two words, one or two anecdotes about my wife. Come on, turn it up. Sam mentioned the day that Emily and I met 27 years ago. We were talking, you know, the Berlin Wall was still there, Mrs. Thatcher was in number 10, Black Box, Right on Time as number 1. Yeah, it's a long time ago, folks. But I can remember that day really clearly. It was sunny, Emily was dressed in white. There was some chemistry there, it was a special day. She looked amazing then, and I'm sure you will agree she looks amazing now. And I'd like to say thank you to Michael and Elaine for all their efforts in bringing her up so ably described just now by Elaine. There's three things I'd like to say about Emily that's worth sharing with you. Number one.
Just three, I know.
Number one, she's somebody who's got character and is in demand. What do I mean by that? Well, when we started going out, Emily was 18, I was kind of in my early 20s, and I remember that she had a 19th birthday party. Now, you've heard all about, oh yeah, this firebrand left-wing radical couple. Well, it was the day of the poll tax riots, 30th of March, 1990. Pitched battle between the police and poll tax rioters in London. Where were we? We were at Emily's birthday party in Slough. And it was a really good birthday party, and the reason I remember it, yeah, it was 19th birthday, people had a few drinks, is that it ended, and this was in a rented property that Emily and Elaine had together, it ended in a food fight. And not only that, but as I recall, Emily played a prominent role in beginning the food fight. So I knew that it was somebody who had character, and the in-demand bit, I have to mention this anecdote. Again, we were going out for, I don't know, a few weeks or whatever, and one morning we were sat up in bed, you know, Morecambe and Wise style, like you do, you kind of sat up in bed in the morning, whatever, and suddenly, bursting into the bedroom, came a man who I'd never seen before. He obviously had a key to the door and he'd come running and walked up. And I found afterwards that this guy was a former boyfriend, whatever. And I recall that he took a look at the two of us. He didn't say anything, and he stormed out again. And I'm pleased to say, a bit like...
Here he is tonight!
I'm pleased to say, a bit like the trolls in the Billy Goat Gruff nursery rhyme, he was never seen or heard of again. So the second thing about Emily is she's somebody who lives life to the full, and a great example of that is the hen do's that she's been on recently. Now, I lost count of how many of these were. There were two prominent ones. So number one was in a caravan in Pembrokeshire. Apparently they were very nearly served by an outfit called Butlers in the Buff. The clue's in the name, folks, if you're not sure what that is. And there were all sorts of adventures on this. There was diving into the sea to rescue a lost book of original handwritten poetry. There was an encounter with a platoon of the Royal Signals Regiment, followed by catching crabs. Yeah, it was in that order, I can assure you. And on hen number 2, which was in the legendary Pink Palace of Sandbanks, I've never been there myself, but one or two of you have. It was all little black dresses and getting high marks on a Mr. and Mrs. quiz that people had sent me in advance. And I must say it was really interesting filling this out. Some of the questions in that quiz, boy oh boy. What's the most unusual place that you've done it?
For a children present, not with the kids here tonight.
Anyway, apparently she got really high marks on this, so that must be a good omen. And finally, the third characteristic about Emily that I have to share with you is somebody who's really talented, and in particular she's got a passion for children and young people. Now, you've heard that we've had 3 children. We had 3 home births, which I think is amazing. I know we probably had a bit of luck in that respect, but each has a really special memory for me. The first one I do remember when Frances was born. She's just an hour or so old, and Emily insisting that when we went to sleep, Frances lay on my chest overnight, and I'll never forget that, waking up in the morning and here she was, we were all there as a threesome. That was amazing. The second one was amazing for a slightly different reason, which was Reese was a bit overdue. Life goes on, that's what they advise you when this is happening. I went off, I was playing football, I don't know, Jacob, Dom, you might have actually been there that night. And I turned my phone off, as you do. I didn't turn it back on again. It was only when I was in the pub, above the hubbub, hearing somebody say, "Is there a Mr. Harris in the pub?" But I realised things were starting to kick off at home. Fortunately, Emily had other things to think about, so the feedback, shall we say, was quite limited. I got off quite lightly on that one. On the third time, Rose, the story was the second midwife, because you have 2 midwives, got lost, and I recall just as Rose was being delivered, giving some instructions down the phone to the midwife that no, you can't go from Fairfield Road to Richmond Road in your car, etc. So that was interesting. And of course, in her professional life, Emily's done child protection in some of the toughest places in Bristol, establishing pioneering services in terms of children and young people with mental health services. So she's someone with talent and with a passion for children and young people. So overall, somebody very special, and I'm really proud that we got married today. So ladies and gentlemen, lastly, I'd just like to say it's customary to propose a toast, and I'd like to make this toast today to life, family and friends. Please raise your glasses, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Thank you very much.
We've only got half a drink here.
Okay, this is going to be really short because I think we've got some time to make up. Andrew Piggott, yeah. Right, my speech is going to be about because I was going to do Oggy Oggy Oggy. Oggy! Oggy! Oggy Oggy Oggy! Thank you. I've got a gift to give tonight. Because so we met. You might have worked out Nye loves me a little bit. He loves other things as well. Does anybody know what else Nye might love?
Cycling!
It's not a bike! He's got a lot of bikes. Anything else Nye loves?
Labour Party. Wanky painting.
Football, yeah. Anything else?
A rubbish football team.
What does he
The
love?
NHS.
The NHS. What does he love reading? The Guardian. Thank you.
Someone said that.
Yeah, okay, someone said that. And the reason why I met Nye is because he was reading The Guardian. And I remember when we go on holiday, Nye would rush to the newspaper stand to see if the International Guardian was there. He was, you know, it would be kind of a kind of life critical mission to find the Guardian if we were abroad. And his most dream-like holiday, Phoebe, was when we came to stay with you in Delhi. When Luke, who isn't here, but so he is going to get a mention, went from being the Daily Mail correspondent for the Southwest to being the Guardian correspondent in Delhi or wherever. And Nye turned up at this flat and he said, "This is like heaven. Stacks and stacks of Guardians." So I've got in here, because even though, you know, we've got married today, we have been together a very long time. And in here is the very Guardian. Okay. I think that's it now from me. I call on you. Yes.
Oh, yeah.